Okay. That was perfect timing. The jump scare on the scene transition. Wonderful. All right. Hello and welcome to episode 179 because I had to look it up to make sure I remember because I've done too many of these damn things. But it's fine because I keep doing it. So it's really just my fault. And you all keep watching, so it's also your fault. Here's this encouragement.
No
Anyway,
more watching.
no more watching. The show is banned. It's tragic. Anyway, off to a great start. Anyway, hello, welcome to the show. Who are you? Tell us.
Hi, everyone. My name is Katie4. I am mainly known for speedrunning the Sonic Adventure series, mainly Adventure 2 Battle. But I have been a part of the speedrunning community for many, many years at this point, like a decade at least. I've been around Classic Sonic, I've been around Pac-Man World 2, Cave Story, some other random games. Um, and I've also just been around.
Yeah,
I've been around in the world.
yeah. I feel like most people can say that, hopefully.
Mhm.
Being around in the world sounds important to living, but speed running. So,
I
a
love
decade.
speedrunning.
Yeah, I do too. That's why I do this thing a lot. It's
Holy
fine.
shit.
Yeah, I know it's crazy stuff. But so a decade. It's a long time.
Wow.
Wow. Do you
Maybe
remember
I
how it
should.
all started?
As long as I can remember, I've
Yeah.
been living. Oh, my
That's
camera
this
went
is
up.
a good
That was
start.
like emotion. So, uh, speedrunning for me started without knowing it was speedrunning, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, back in 2010, about, I want to say, around the 2009 to 2010 era, I had learned about a fan game, Sonic Roboblast 2. You might have heard of
Yes,
it.
I've played it.
It's
I've beaten it.
it's a really good one.
I
It's a really
know.
fun fan game. In case people in chat, you should go play it. It's really
It's
good.
free.
It is free. Um, so this would have been like version 2.0, so like way back in the Stone Ages of like 2009-ish. And I had a friend at the time. Their name was, I think, Carpnado, yeah. And Carpnado did some ILs. I had no idea what ILs meant or time trials or whatever the hell. So I kind of just ended up copying what my friends did at the time because I like being around a party. I like being around a group of people and sharing in a hobby.
Mhm.
So I ended up doing some ILs of Sonic stages in Sonic Roboblast 2. They weren't very good. I don't have the videos anymore, unfortunately, so I can't like go back and check. But um, I remember having a lot of fun with them, although I didn't really know why.
Hmm.
Eventually, in like 2011, this would have been around the time that the Sonic Generations demo came out, the one where you play as modern Sonic. Um, and I think the person's name was First Kirby Ever. Um, they posted a Green Hill Act 2 IL, and I loved it so much that I just copied it.
Mhm.
like just copied all the strats and tried to beat the time, and I ended up actually doing so. I would have been like 9 or 10 years old at the
Wow.
time I would have been doing this. Um,
Early adapter.
Early adapter, yeah. I've been speedrunning without knowing it for a long time. Um, just because it looked so cool. Um, just seeing people play games so fast blew my mind. And I think that same feeling um held true for when I found out about Awesome Games Done Quick. Um, I was on YouTube one day in 2013, and I can't remember how I found it. I might have just looked up like Metroid Prime or something because that was my hyperfixation at the time. And I found Claris's AGDQ 2013 run, and I was amazed by how fast it was, how impressive it was. Like Claris did a wonderful job. I kind of like watched that run back a little bit, and it's insane how good it was for its time. Um, it it blew my mind, and even though it took like a few months after watching that run for me to actually partake in speed running, as it were, like full game speed running, um, I eventually got there through another hyperfixation of mine, which was Cave Story, um, in which I got super um, hyper brain fixation about Cave Story, and that ended up with me looking at the Speed Demos Archive YouTube account, which then led to Speedruns Live.
Mm.
Um, and that's when I ended up learning about Speedruns Live, learning about Twitch streaming and speedruns, and I ended up having an interest and started partaking in SRL. So
So
that would have
what year?
been
Yeah.
around like 2013, give or
Oh,
take.
really? Okay.
Yeah. So,
So yeah, prime time SRL.
mm-hmm. Speedruns Live was like an amazing site for me, mostly just because the racing aspect was so cool. Being able to race other players in real time was exciting. Um, I wasn't very good at the races I did, which was mostly like get blade percent in Cave Story, which uh, for those who don't know, the blade is a weapon you get after basically the halfway point of the run. You finish 3 areas, and that's the blade is what you get as your like final reward for completing the 3rd area. I did some races with a player named Doisum, I like DOICM. I think he's still around actually. He's alive and well, and I hope he's doing his best. Thank you for letting me race you. It was awesome. um, and so I did like 3 or 4 races, and I eventually slowly started improving my skills at the best ending category in Cave Story, which is self-explanatory. It's kind of like the premier category of the game because you have to do the hard part at the end where you go through hell and you fight Balos and do all that stuff. Spoilers for Cave Story, by the way. Sorry.
Oh no.
Um. Oh no.
No. This is so sad.
Um. But yeah, it's a really hard category. Mostly just because the end game is so brutal, and especially if you're not comfortable with the movement in Cave Story, it can be a bit of a train wreck to do. So I really struggled with that. But um, I mean, I was young and just engaging in a hobby I felt like was fun and interesting. So I had fun.
That's the important
Um,
part.
that's true. There's a lot of time gaps in these first initial years of me speedrunning. So I think I did a couple Super Meat Boy races as well. I like like not a lot of people know this, but I did have like a moment in time where I ran Super Meat Boy. It was like 2 runs I did with a friend of mine in a gaming community I was a part of at the time. Games for Life, for those who know. Um, and I did a couple of them. They were pretty funny. I don't remember what times they were, but they certainly weren't great. Um, but it was just a little thing that me and my friend did. And then after that, I think it was a couple years of hiatus for me. I started getting into Melee at the time, and so that became more of a focus for me. Uh, by the time of 2016, I had started engaging more with the Source Runs community, which jump scare. I was a part of the Source Runs community.
Dear
Um,
God.
um, yeah, I guess I should stumble back a bit. In my SRL hype phase of 2013, I also ended up finding out about Half-Life 2 speedrunning, and that became another interest of mine, mostly just because I thought ABHing, accelerated back hopping, whatever, um, was like the coolest thing of all time. So I ended up learning some of the tech in that run, but never really doing a full game run of it. And just kind of like watching the Source Runs community from afar. Whenever they uploaded like segmented runs or anything like that, I'd watch and be amazed by the skill um, showcased. Um, I think it was Juxpa that made the Portal tasks in 2016, and that made me want to join the Discord and talk to people, which was very funny. I was like 14 years old at the time, so um, definitely a lot of funny reactions to me being a kid and whatnot. Um, but for a couple months there, at least like 6 months, I was kind of a Source Runs member. I did the slightest bit of work on some segmented runs. Half-Life 2 30, or actually, I had a segment in that. Just one segment, but I did do one segment in a Source Runs project that was released. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty old, but I did it. And then that was kind of it. Mostly, I just made some good friends there and hung out with them for a while. And then just sort of dropped out as other interests of mine came in. I was a heavy first person shooter uh, gamer, as it were. So I was trying to get into Overwatch and all that stuff, which,
My condolences. Yeah.
yeah, it happens to everyone. It literally does happen to everyone.
Yeah. I had
Yeah,
it not professional by any means, but growing up, all my friends played COD, so yeah, it does happen to
yeah,
everyone. I was never good,
mhm,
thank God, but
yeah. I like got decent. Most of my friends always complimented me for my aiming skill, but like I never felt like I could consistently um reach that peak. Um and so
all
that
my
was a big
friends said I was dog
demotivator.
shit.
No, no. That's
So good
horrible.
for you. It's all right. I don't talk to them anymore. Anyway,
That's fair. That's good. That's good. I mean, unless it's good to have friends call you dog shit.
I don't know. I,
I wouldn't think so, but
I don't know what the mental gymnastics are for that. So,
um yeah. Near the end of 2016, that old friend of mine, Carpnado, uh, uploaded a video about a Satix or a Sonic Adventure DX director's cut speedrunning tutorial. It was basically a tutorial on how like to set up the game on PC. And upon seeing that video, I was like, "Oh, what if I just tried this?" Keep in mind that like I had watched the TASes made by Talis and another person that I shall not name.
Okay.
Uh, sorry. Um, Tally's and the other person made tasks of both Sonic Story, I think Tails Story as well. Tally's did those two, and then the Hero Story tasks back in like 2014 around there, and I was amazed by that skill. Um, and then the tasking in general and all that stuff. Very exciting tasks to watch, and I think I probably just had that in the mind in my brain sphere when checking out this tutorial by Carpnado. And I was like, what if I just like tried this? Like, what if I just messed around with this for a bit? Um, and so I set up the game and I just started speedrunning it. And that was when I first started speedrunning Sonic Story, um, in Sonic Adventure DX. Um,
The beginning of the end.
the be- yeah, the final moments before I die.
No.
So I think Sadix was the first real speed game that like I really pushed myself in. Um, I don't like I can't exactly like remember as to like why I pushed it as hard as I did. I think what ended up happening was I started learning it and I started watching the world record at the time, which was a 29:49 by G Pro. G Pro, who has ran the Sonic Adventure games, Sonic Heroes, also runs Crash, Twin Sanity, stuff like that. And G Pro's Sonic Story run was incredible for the time. It was way ahead of everyone else. And um, I had just slowly started studying G Pro's movement, the way G Pro plays the game, and also G Pro's tutorials, which were available at the time, um, which gave me a greater understanding of how to move Sonic. And there's a certain dopamine to moving Sonic in that game. Sonic is so free and flowing, and like you can do anything you want with him
Huh.
just because of how powerful the spin dash is. Um, so uh, I think that caught my interest. But also at the same time, I had started meeting a new group of friends as well, in which Nick Wanamaker is his name. Nick Wanamaker was a guy who used to run the Adventure series, and I popped into one of his streams once, and I thought he was like the coolest guy ever. So I wanted to be friends with him, and so in order to in order to do that, I ended up speedrunning one of the category extensions in Sadix, which was 20 emblems, in which Nick had the record for that, and I took it and Nick Wanamaker was so impressed that I became a member in his Discord server, which
Huh.
is like a special role to like access the secret super duper call and stuff. And um, I got to end up being good friends with a lot of the people in Toxic Gamers United, which was the
Okay.
Discord server. Um, and so I think just making that connection of friends, and in addition to Sadix being a cool ass game to play, was what made me stick with it in the end and actually becoming like a full blown speedrunner, as it were.
Mm. And then it was that game forever.
Basically. Um, just kidding. There's a lot more.
Yeah.
Uh, so, uh, you have any questions, by the way? Like anything that pops out of you as I
uh
ramble about my speedrunning history, world,
no.
universe?
I think you're killing it so far.
Woo! That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so we got friends and we got speedrun.
Mm-hmm. That's
What
all you
what
need.
more do you want? Yeah.
Exactly.
So eventually, just over time, I started pushing the my PB down more and more, um, and started interacting more with the speedrunning community, which was kind of awesome. Um, there's a certain dopamine to PBing and like pushing minute barriers down that made me want to stick around and keep doing it. Um, because like it feels so satisfying to reach certain thresholds that you thought you could never reach. There's certain time barriers that seem so daunting, and then eventually when you push through them, they kind of like fall over like dominoes,
Mhm.
and just more and more just keep showing up the more you improve. It got to a point where I think it was like around the 32 to 31 minute mark. This is like RTA. Statics is actually interesting. um, Let me open up another can of worms. Um, so Sonic Adventure DX used to be timed in RTA. The problem is that the PC port of Sonic Adventure DX is terrible. It is garbage in that its frame rate is dynamic. It just depends on what operating system you have and like what kind of hardware you have. And it ran its fastest on Windows 7. It ran at around a frame rate of like 62.5 ish. Um, Whereas if you were on Windows 10, it would run at like 61 or 60 FPS. So that's like a notable difference. You could save like 30, 40, 50, even a minute in some categories just on frame rate alone. And so I had to do the process of downgrading to Windows 7, which I mean, I didn't mind. Windows 7 is like the best operating system of all time,
Hmm.
but it definitely was not great. Eventually, later on, statics would become timed with an IGT, which is basically just a frame counter, a complicated frame counter,
Mhm.
uh, meaning that runs are much more like people's computers are much more even with each other, if that
Yeah.
if that makes
Like the
sense.
hardware doesn't play a factor anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Can of worms closed. Uh, so it took about 6 months from the start of the year, so January, end of December of 2016 into January of 2017, until July of 2017 for me to push far enough and get the Sonic Story record, which felt like a pretty incredible accomplishment at the time, for me. And I just kind of kept pushing from there. Uh,
Do you remember what your
I-
first record time was?
the first record time, I I guess it's probably a good idea for me to look at my YouTube channel for this. It was like a 29:47,
And
I
that's with the
believe.
IGT timing?
That would have been with RTA.
Okay. Did they ever like retime it with IGT for older runs, or did they just swap?
Older runs, yeah. Unfortunately, no. In Sonic, like in Statics, it's a little hard to do that. You
Mhm.
know, SA2, for example, like that is like a IGT like timer on the top left
Yeah.
sort of timing. And that just like works fine. You can count frames and stuff. Whereas statics, if you only have like 60 FPS video, you can like guesstimate a certain time, like what the frame rate kind of is,
Mhm.
but it's a little harder to like um, calculate the actual IGT, as
Yeah.
it were, from a video.
I didn't
So a
know it
lot
didn't
of
have the timer like SA2
yeah,
does. Okay.
it's quite sad because a lot of old history, like old runs from like 2017 and below, um, are not on the leaderboards anymore because we can't salvage them. Like
Mm,
we can't even like really grandfather them in without it looking super ugly.
I see.
Um,
Yeah.
like for the longest time, one of my Tail Story PBs uh was like the top on the RTA leaderboards, but because IGT was like first for sorting, my speedrun would be below all of the IGT times. So it would just be really like
Oh. Did they not have
jarring.
separate columns?
Um,
Because I know
I think
some Sonic games, that use like the RTA minus TB, but then they'll have the real time in like a separate column, for example, stuff like that.
oh, I see. They were separate columns, but you can like there weren't like separate tabs, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
So you would just have all the IGT times first, and then the RTA time like down here, just
So
like below
they
all of
wouldn't
them.
even like include the RTA time next to IGT runners.
Pretty, it was more like RTA, like RTA only runs would just be sorted last
Okay.
compared to all the
That
IGT
just seems
runs.
weird given how I know the site
Yeah,
works, but
yeah, but I think ultimately with it looked gross at the time, but I think the more runs were done using the IGT timer,
mhm.
obviously the issue became
Yeah.
less
So just
apparent.
got rid of it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Brush that under the rug.
Whee! Um, yeah, so let me just go through my oldest YouTube videos just for time references. Um, yeah, so 2947.45 was the RTA of my first record in Sonic Story. Although I did also I have IGT for it. It was like a 3049 around there, which I believe maps to like about like 17th place in current day, which is kind
Jesus.
of crazy to me.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
because that's over 10 years ago almost.
yeah.
Also,
And then
did you
eventually
say the IGT was slower than RTA?
yeah.
What?
So okay. Let so another can of worms.
Yes.
Um, so the IGT is typically slower than RTA because it's a frame counter.
Hmm.
Um, because it's a frame counter, if the frame rate is higher, then obviously the IGT timer is going to go up faster
Hmm.
because are assuming that every 60 frames is a second of time, which Statix is meant to run at 60 frames per second. So, um, because the game is running faster, the time will go
Hmm.
up faster,
Okay.
pretty much. Which can lead to that sort of discrepancy. I think most people play Statix at 60 FPS now with like a 60 FPS cap because, um, even though back in RTA the game running faster was a benefit, I think nowadays because we have the IGT timing to fix that problem, running the game at a higher speed means you're losing frames from spin dashing too long or anything like that.
Hmm.
Just the difference of like a small FPS difference can make on like optimizing your speed run.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to frame rate cap for consistency across the community anyway, so.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's just funny that it
Hmm.
causes that because you never see like an IGT be slower than RTA.
Yeah, yeah. Sonic Adventure is a very silly game. Um, around I okay, then we have to talk about Sonic Adventure 2
Mm.
because I was playing Statix for 6 7 months. How the heck did I end up
Anyway.
playing SA2? It's God, I oh no.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to talk about 6 7 when we get to Sonic Schoolhouse, so that's gonna be
Yeah,
okay.
I'm just mentally preparing for the time.
Yeah, walk in, walk in. Um, so I actually did a run of Sonic Adventure 2 in 2013. Uh,
Jeez.
sorry, I didn't mention it back in
Yeah.
2013,
How
but
dare you?
uh, oh no, the timing is all wrong. How are you gonna put this all together? No.
So sad.
Um, I back in 2013, I did a race of beat Green Forest percent. I did
Hmm.
two of them actually. With people that I don't even know were in the community, or maybe they were, but they're not in the community anymore. Obviously, I got some pretty funny times in beat Green Forest percent. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no knowledge of the strats or the speed run or anything like that. Um, but I had some fun doing him. I actually have an old Twitch VOD of one of the beat Green Forest percents, but my Twitch bitrate was way too high, and so it's just a PowerPoint presentation of what the run should look like.
Hmm.
So it's kind of unwatchable, but it is funny. It's there.
That is funny.
Um, I eventually learned about Talon2461, who great guy. I love him. He did a lot of 180 emblems runs, and I don't think I ever sat down and watched a 180 run fully, but I occasionally open up a Talon2461 stream on the side whenever I was doing something. Um, and then just a month or so after I started running Statics, there were people doing a SA2 race, and I wanted to join them. So I ended up joining in that race and doing a blind run, which was like 2 hours or something. Um, Knuckles is really hard to do when you don't know what you're doing. Um,
Fair.
which I'll get to in a moment. But after that silly little race I did, I eventually did some Knuckles Centurions, and eventually just over time started learning Hero Story and getting better at that too. This would have been around like February of 2017. Uh SA2 was a side project for me mostly. Um Whenever I got bored with running Sonic Story or whatever statics category I was learning at the time, then I would just kind of boot up SA2 and like do some Sonic ILs or whatever. Um a part of SA2, like the barrier to entry for SA2 for me was the control scheme, in that it I could never find a controller that felt good to play on. Um with the Xbox button layout, there's some kind of restrictions on like quick bounce movement that you can do. Um which felt a little uncomfortable to do. The GameCube button layout, which I have right here, in case you don't know what a GameCube controller looks like.
What is that?
Um,
Oh.
yeah, you can do some nice like thumb slides on this
Mhm.
button layout. I love this button layout. It's great.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I've heard nothing but praise about the GameCube
yeah,
controller.
yeah, but the stick gate, the notches on it, always felt kind of terrible, and I don't like notches.
Mm.
For like Sonic Adventure games in general. So and then 20 like around like June or something of 2017, I ended up um
Hmm.
turning my stick gate into a circle. This is the same gate from 2017, not the
Nice.
backplate's from an orange spice, but I've been using the same faceplate on top here for like almost 10 years, and it still works like a champ. I can't believe it. The gate is way too big for the stick, so um it's kind of a mess, but I've gotten used to it. I don't think I can like change it or go back on it or anything like that
The muscle
anytime
memory's
soon.
too ingrained now.
Yeah. Um it was that and some anti-sensitivity settings in X360 CE, um which basically just made analog movement in SA2 on PC feel much closer to the GameCube version. Um, I also entertained running SA2 on GameCube for a little bit.
Hmm.
Very silly idea now. But
They just
I mean,
separate the platform, right? Into
yeah, they did.
subcategories. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, they did a console split just not this year, but last year.
Okay.
Last year. So, um, it's kind of crazy to think about, but we can we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
There's so many things to talk about. Um, then in around September of 2017, uh, the IGT timing for SATX was implemented. It had been in the works for a while, but it had finally had an implementation done back, in that time frame. However, they also banned some of the game mods that we had allowed for SATX at the time, which, oh no, another can of worms that I
Mhm.
have to talk about. Um, so SATX is a very funny speed game, and we allowed a lot of mods that we really shouldn't have.
Mm.
We allowed ghost mod for a time, which basically just replayed a ghost in the stage that you were playing, which I don't know why we allowed that at all. That's quite silly.
Mm.
Um uh the subsequently also allowed camera code airfix, which is a very short patch that fixes a problem in SATX where every time you like do a stage load, or I also don't remember if it affects act transitions as well. I think it does. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm.
Uh, it fixes the camera swapping back to auto if you happen to swap it to free cam, which in some places in SATX you want to be in free cam because the camera is way better and allows you to move much easier in comparison to auto cam, and vice versa. So they allowed camera code airfix. They also allowed the input mod, which basically rewrites the input handler in the PC port of SATX. Gives you a lot more angles than native vanilla SATX, and basically makes the game infinitely better to play. Um, However, when they implemented IGT in 2017 in September, they also banned camera code airfix. And I was very mad about that. I was pissed. And I was like, no, I will not stand up for that.
Mm.
I was like 16 years old at the time. Uh, so I ended up playing Sonic Adventure 2 in protest because
Mm.
I didn't like it. And I thought, wow, this sucked. Um, so my push into Hero Story was because they banned camera code airfix and SATX, um, which is kind of funny to think about.
Mm.
Um, I do wonder about a future where camera code airfix didn't get banned. I wonder how that would have gone, but
Mhm.
alas, that didn't happen.
That's for a
Uh,
parallel universe.
True, true.
Mhm.
S- So from there, I oh yeah, I also came back to Cave Story a little bit in 2017. Minor detail.
Mhm.
Um,
Unimportant.
just a little play the game for like a couple weeks and then ditch. You know, that's how it goes. Um, but then I started kind of pushing Hero Story until I ended up getting like a 2403 IGT, which I'm not sure what that would be in variant 1. For context, SA2 IGT, or SA2 used to be timed by IGT, which was just stage times. They eventually changed it to what we call variant 1 timing, which is IGT plus pauses plus menuing. Uh, for the purposes of this discussion, we only really need to know about IGT.
Mhm.
Um, So I got like a 2403 IGT, which was like really high on the leaderboard. So I don't remember if it was like fourth or like fifth place at the time. It was a very surprise run for me. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it at all. I just ended up playing really well and getting really lucky and clutched it out. Um, and so it was at that moment in like October or like September of 2017 when I got that time. that I wanted to push for the Hero Story record. Um, the Hero Story record at the time was a 23:33, I believe, by Dark Pro. Um, Dark Pro was one of my biggest inspirations for um, Sonic Adventure 2 and speedrunning in general. There's a certain sort of energy that came about with Dark Pro. Um, okay, I just looked at the record. He had like a 2322 IGT, which got upsized to a 2327 variant one. Uh, Dark Pro was an SA2 runner and scientist who often streamed himself just doing ILs or sciencing Death Chamber, one of the knuckle stages in the run. Um, and just like, playing for himself, that sort of thing. I always admired his Sonic skill. He was incredibly good at Sonic stages. He had really good Metal Harbor, he had a really good Green Forest, which I could not understand how he got that time for like a year or two. It was that impressive. And I learned a lot just watching his streams. He had a very chill demeanor. It was always just kind of nice, funny, and just cool. And I have to give a lot of my speedrunning accomplishments to him because he was so inspirational to me. And then eventually just like devising like learning the skills necessary in Sonic stages, improving my consistency in them, as well as tail stages as well, because mech stages are quite complicated in SA2. There's a lot of finite like tight little movements you have to do, precise movements you have to do in like a really quick amount of time. Because the main part about mechs in SA2 is that you have to optimize for movement, and movement's hard, especially when making wide turns slows the mech down like tremendously. So just making these fine like precision moves in order to keep your speed going. Um, and Knuckles as well, which I have always been adverse to Knuckles in SA2. Knuckles is completely random. Well, completely random.
Hmm.
Uh, you get randomly generated emerald pieces that you have to know the locations of. Then you have to know the free piece checks, which are pieces you can get out of order because the radar only shows one of them in SA2 for some reason. I don't know why they did that. That's a very silly choice. Um, and routing decisions because, the game on first load, or like the first load of a knuckle stage only gives you like 1024, like 1024 possible like piece orientations. Orientations. Let's go with orientations. Piece arrangements. And so there's some patterns that you can kind of recognize and intuit from there. I didn't want to learn any of that. I thought that stuff was boring. I thought that stuff was like not interesting at all. Um, and so I had a lot of hero story runs where I would go into them and not know a piece and then lose my run, and I would be very sad about it. So I kind of like kept grinding and grinding, hoping that eventually the stars would align. I did eventually do some Knuckles practice, mostly in Aquatic Mine, which is one of the cooler Knuckle stages in that run. You can do some cool movement in that stage, and it's pretty, and I love it a lot. Um, but I never really pushed Knuckles to the extent that other people in the community have, especially in the last few years where I don't think I've touched Knuckles like at all. But but eventually sometime in February, like February 28th of 2018, after trying to push for this hero story record for so long, I ended up clutching out a run of 2253 IGT, and I was very ecstatic. I was very happy and very mind blown that I could accomplish something like that. It was a pretty big minute barrier smash. Keep in mind that Dark Pro had like a 23:22 and I had gotten a 22:53, which is like a
Mhm.
30-second improvement, which was unheard of, I think, at the time. Uh, I didn't even think a 22 uh, IGT minute barrier or minute time was even possible until I just did it,
Hmm.
and I felt pretty ecstatic about it. And that run held up for like months. Uh, it actually took until a new strat development in Eternal Engine was found. A massive 40-second skip in, or a 40-second time save, a skip in Eternal Engine called Bofa, where
Hmm.
it's called Bofa because you break Bofa the boxes.
That's
Um,
pretty good.
yep, great name. See, it's funny. When that strat was found, I was gonna call it Bofa because I thought it would be funny. And it was Jet Set Radio who, a great friend of mine, he coined the reason where you break Bofa the boxes, and that name stuck. Although, there's another addition to that name now, that strat name, where people call it the Quan if you hit it first try, because it's kind of finicky and a little random to hit Bofa first try because of object load order shenanigans,
Mm.
um, to where you have to doing it on the second try makes it basically free. Uh, Once that strat was found, uh, I think a lot of people were kind of rushing to play SA2. Big new development, super exciting time. There was a lot of new runners coming into the scene, like um, especially a lot in Dark Story as well, which I have to so many stories, so many layers.
So many
Um
stories, heroes are any.
yeah, that's two of them.
Damn.
Holy. Uh and so eventually I improved the hero story time down to like a Oh, actually no. Sorry. I forgot about the 22:36. Because we have to talk about Summoning Salt now.
Oh yes, of course.
So I was in a Summoning Salt video. Wow, holy moly.
Yeah,
Holy crap. Um Summoning Salt was basically forced to make that SA2 video, by the way, which I feel kind of bad about.
of
Um
course.
as in, like he just I think people were suggesting it to him and he was like, maybe. And then I think people just kind of ended up making a Discord server and throwing him in there, and then he just kind of felt like he had to make the video. It's a lot more complicated than that, obviously, but um you can kind of tell that like the SA2 video is like a weird sort of half step in the old era of Summoning Salt videos into the new era of Summoning Salt videos,
Hmm.
where I think there's like a big up step in quality from like 2017 to like 2019 about there.
Hmm.
Um, I was featured in that video, and it was just like a short little snippet, but it made me feel pretty good. And so I booted up stream to quote unquote capitalize on that excitement. And in that stream, I got a 22:36, which it was a record improvement by like um 15 seconds, give or take. Um, which felt pretty good.
Yeah,
I did not expect it at all. It just happened. Uh,
yeah. I
and
distinctly remember this. The
it was
the world record for outdating a summoning salt video at the time. So
yes, yes,
what,
of which
4 hours or something?
I think that still holds. I think that
Does
is
it?
still
All right.
true. I don't maybe someone else has done something. I haven't checked. I
Yeah, I
haven't
don't I
heard.
don't remember. I thought there was another one, but I forget what it would have been. But I do remember
Yeah.
this. It was really funny.
Yeah. uh And then it was shortly after that record, I think within a week or two, that the Bofa Strat was found, which very funny.
Mhm.
Uh, it took me a long while to actually push Hero Story because I don't exactly know what I was doing at the time. I was probably handling a lot of school stuff at the time, being in high school and being in extracurricular like activities and stuff. Um, and I think it was Seraphim pushing to get a 22, and after seeing him get a 22, that I decided to push my time down a little bit to like a 22, 20 something,
Mm,
and then eventually, uh, it was the push of D Trader One Trader. Trader is an SH2 runner. He's made some tutorials for Hero Story and stuff in the past. He was also a 180 emblem record holder uh, for a long time. He's a great player, great guy, and he made his first push in like 2018 for the Hero Story record. And um, I was a very competitive kid. I
mhm,
was very um, egotistical. Let's put it that way.
mhm.
Uh, I had a pretty, I probably, I had a pretty huge ego as a kid. I didn't like being beaten. I, I've always kind of been like a poor sportsmanship kind of gal
Mhm,
in my younger years. So I oftentimes pushed my records down in like a sort of securement sort of way,
mhm,
world record securement, as it were. Um, uh, but it was that competition from Trader that helped push the hero time down to a couple of 22-minute runs, but eventually in March of 2019, it made it down to the 21-minute barrier with my 21:56. And I felt like that was a pretty phenomenal run of execution for the time. Like the RNG wasn't necessarily great, but I managed to execute in the Sonic and Tails stages to where I wanted to at the time and got a pretty awesome time for its time. And eventually that hero record kind of laid dormant for a while. Couple other stories from 2018 was I actually would come back to Sonic Story and Sadix on occasion, and that was because um, the French demon Nixer. Nixer's a fucking wonderful, great guy. I love him so much. Nixer's the goat of Sadix. He's amazing. He he's an incredible glitch hunter too, as well, which I'll get into in time. Uh, actually, will I? Yeah, sure. Let's say I will. Um, just incredible player. Uh, and he kind of got his start doing ILs in like the Sonic stages, and then eventually pushed that to the main category, Sonic Story, and got the record. And then you know me, I have to be the best at everything at
mhm,
this time in 2018. So I like did a stream, got the record back basically immediately, and that was that. And it just kind of stayed that way for a time. But eventually Nixer did come back and get the record back sometime in late 2018 or something. But or maybe it was 2019. But I got a little distracted with all the hero story stuff, so I could never really go back to that. And it kind of was like a project I'd deal with from time to time. Another project that started was Pac-Man World 2, and that's really interesting. So, average Trey after the 120 shine sub 3,
mhm,
he came back to Pac-Man World 2 to get, I think, a 41, something like that. Um, the 41 was basically an impossible minute barrier that Another player, Ruse SR, which great guy, love that guy, love Ruse. He got a 4159, and Pac-Man World 2. One of the things about Pac-Man World 2 is that it's really hard. It is a hard ass game. Um, there's a lot of finite details to the terrain. Just very slight differences in positioning can cause very different results. So to be consistent in that game, you have to like constantly account for all the variables that come your way when reveling all over the terrain. Um, from like slight angle differences to slight positioning differences to bounce off of surfaces in particular ways. Um, really hard stuff. But it was watching Average Trey play Pac-Man World 2 that caught my attention. I eventually tried doing VP skip, Volcanic Panic skip, where you can basically just go straight to the end of the level from the start of it by going out of bounds. And after figuring that out, I was like, wow, this run actually is pretty dope. So I eventually just started learning it and improving my time slowly. I remember improving so quickly because when you're a kid, you have infinite time glitch and you can just do whatever
Yeah,
you want. It's kind of nuts.
I miss
Infinite,
that.
yeah, infinite time glitch is broken.
Hmm.
Um, I guess we should all just get unemployed and have infinite time glitch.
Yeah,
Surely.
I can't think of any negatives. Not a
Not at
single
all.
one. No.
Nope. Not at
Great
all.
idea. Great idea.
Yeah. Um, and so I pushed really hard and people kind of thought I was cheating, which was funny. Well,
What?
not like cheating in that sense, mostly just under an alt account of someone.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, which was a very funny little thing,
Hmm.
but minor little quibble. Uh, and Pac-Man World 2 just kind of became one of those side projects that I would occasionally hop on, play for a bit, and then focus back on SA2 for a time. Oh, another story from 2018, Dark Story. Dark Story is the counterpart to Hero Story. This may be a shock to you.
What?
What? Um, and so I started learning Dark Story just because I think people kind of peer pressured me into doing it in 2018, or maybe I was just super hooked into the idea of like trying to be the best at everything in SA2. Um, and there were some other runners at the time after Ethmar, who, by the way, Ethmar, great guy. I love him so much. He's very tall and he is very funny, um, which is kind of like the two things to be in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I learned a lot from him. Ethmar has so many ILs, so many little ring attacks, score attacks. He's done like almost everything in SA2 that you could do, and he is really good at all of it. It is incredible how much time and effort Ethmar has spent doing random things in SA2, while also just being good at the main categories. He kind of like stopped playing the full game categories in like 2019, 2020, give or take. But his skill is always something I will remember. Um, and his play style is super cool. Um, I ended up having some competition with Ethmar. We go back and forth on Dark Story record for a time. And then eventually it was another runner, or A66, who came in with a Dark Story record of his own. He had been slowly pushing the category down and down more and more. Like his PB until like September of 2018, where he finally clutched it out. You know me,
Mhm.
I have to be the best at
Can't
everything. So
can't have that.
I did some runs and beat it the same day. You know how it goes.
Mhm.
Um, I can't remember if Aura had another record at the time. Um, I I could check the record spreadsheet. We have like a world record history spreadsheet, which is super cool and informatory. Shout outs to information.
Mm,
Um,
it is important.
yeah, and then it was another guy, Drum Basher, um, 004. I think this would have been like 2019 when he got his first record, but Drum Basher 004, a guy from Britain, lovely guy. I love him. Very funny guy. Um, he is insanely good at Dark Story, and he ended up getting uh the record, and it was quite good. You know me,
Yeah, I've caught
I
on
have
at
to
this
be the.
point.
So eventually, I ended up trying to stream and do runs of that. Uh, However, that stream also coincided with um a new strat discovery uh in Final Chase, which is FC skip. So in Final Chase, the final shadow stage and the stage before the final boss of Dark Story, the goal ring is actually like basically below you from the start. It's a little further ways down, like horizontally, but um, you can basically jump from the rail, get yourself skewed gravity, which gravity mechanics in Sonic Venture are an interesting subject in of itself. But basically, you can just kind of skew your gravity to be more horizontal than going downwards, which can allow you to cross larger gaps. Um, so you just jump off a rail, get skewed gravity, and then navigate, weave in between two kill planes, and then fly all the way to the goal ring. And that was a pretty revolutionary find that um, Redacted and me kind of worked together. It was mostly Redacted though. Um, that was a pretty huge strat find. It was basically TAS only though, so that person ended up finding a RTA viable FC skip, which involved jumping off the rail on a specific frame and running down the side of this little bridge, which was super precise, and then doing a precise jump out of bounds, and then hitting a partial gravity reset, which is another tech that requires a precise angle to do. Um,
So a lot.
yeah, it was a lot, and I'm a freak, so I ended
Mm,
up learning it and doing it in ILs. And I kind of thought that like doing it in runs would have been kind of like a pipe dream, like it would have just been really hard and impossible. Um, but eventually, on that same day, that I don't know if it was the same day. It might have been a couple days after or something. Uh, but I did runs of Dark Story. I had a run that was kind of okay, but it wasn't like great enough to beat Drum Basher.
mm.
So I died once trying to go for the skip, and then I hit the skip and saved like 30 or 40 seconds of
Jesus.
time. Um, and it ended up getting the record, and it was a big moment for me. Uh, I tend to do this thing where I do like this really dumb, stupid, hard strat in runs, and then I clutch it up, and then the record kind of stays that way as like an impossible little barrier around it
Mm,
for a time. A similar thing happened in Sadix, which I'll get to. Uh, Funnily enough, Drum Basher did end up getting a 23. I got like a 2336 or something like that in Dark Story, and Drum Basher got fairly close. I think like a 23 4x or 5x with FC skip. So Drum Basher is incredibly good.
mm.
Drum Basher, like, incredibly good at the game, but I think he kind of stopped pushing for the Dark Story record at that time because there's kind of like Drum Basher put it best in like you can either get first place and get second immediately, or you could get second and do other things with your life. Um, because I had to be top one in SA2 because it felt like my prized possession. It felt like everything to me, which interesting sort of thought behavior pattern to have. But it was like 2019, 2020. The SAT kind of became my life for a time. Um, Before 2020, uh, there's a Sadix story to talk about. Um, in Sadix, Nixer had been just slowly pushing more and more to improve the record or improve his times. He got the record back and pushed it down to a time which took a significant amount of effort for me to really get. There was also a new strat discovery in Windy Valley Act 3, which was basically a gravity manipulation to fly all the way from the start of Act 3 to the end. And Sadix became a really hard game, and I started sort of developing a little mental block around it in that Nixer was incredibly good, and I just could not really compete with Nixer. Eventually, I did kind of like get the record back with like a 29, like 4x IGT about there, something like that. I think it was like a 2943 IGT. Nixer got like a 2935 IGT in like May or March or probably May or April of 2019. And then eventually later on in 2019, around October, I decided to come back to Sadix and try and get that record back. I don't know, I just had like a burst of inspiration to do it. And I implemented a trick near the end of the run called lol skip.
Hmm.
The name has nothing to do with anything. I just wanted to call it lol skip.
Okay.
um we have some very funny naming conventions in Sonic Adventure.
So I've
Um
heard.
we just do things for the sake of doing things sometimes. Um and like eventually, why am I saying eventually? I've been talking for a while.
Yeah,
I could
that
use some water.
yeah. Talking tends to happen on this show.
What if we just stood in silence for the next
You
30
know, that's
minutes?
basically what I
Just to
do.
see. That's
So
awesome.
that is basically what I do on these episodes. I just sit in silence and let the guests take over. You know, my job's pretty
Woo!
easy.
I guess that's fair, eh?
Yeah, but
I mean, you have any questions of your own, perhaps? If you
I
do
don't know.
have
You've
any.
been kind of just explaining everything I need to know. I feel.
Woo!
Yeah.
Cool.
Well,
I don't ever want to like make someone feel left out. That's kind of a core
yeah.
character
No, I
trait.
usually try to interrupt respectfully if I need to know more. Although
Gotcha.
I do remember I've never seen a Pac-Man World 2 speedrun, but I did. That is a game I have like some sort of memory of at a friend's house from like 15 years ago.
You
So
should totally like
look at it.
watch. Yeah,
Yeah.
you should totally look at it. It's a cool run.
Is
It's
that
kind of like
has it ever been
it's a
on like GDQ? Is there like a good like
yes.
showcase of it?
Nacho can't Nacho Brado, I think. I can't remember the last name, but Nacho. Nacho did a showcase of it in 2018. I think AGDQ. And me and McKitty actually did a race, a Pac-Man World 2 at SGDQ 2022.
Mm.
Um, McKitty's the goat. of Pac-Man World 2. He's fucking incredible. He's cracked. I would highly recommend watching his world record. Um, it is a phenomenal showcase of Pac-Man World 2 and all the little tricks and trinkets and minor optimizations that McKitty goes for that basically no one else does
All right.
because he's so fucking good at that game.
I'll write this down in my memory banks here.
Yeah. um, I'm gonna blow my nose real quick.
That's fair.
I got a little bit of a stuffy nose
Yeah.
after GDQ because, of course,
Yeah. GD flu and
why
all that.
not?
I didn't get sick, luckily, but it doesn't matter because my nose has basically been running nonstop for 7 years, so it's fine. Uh, that's my life,
That's wait, your nose has been running for 7 years
pretty
without
much.
any problems. That's
Uh,
crazy.
yeah, I know. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I constantly have to have a tissue on hand and just blow it like every hour.
Damn,
It's great. It's fun life.
that's
It could be worse.
awesome life.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Uh, okay. Woo! Speedrunning.
Speed
Who
running.
loves speedrunning?
Me, me,
Woo!
me, me, me.
Um, I did lol skip at the end of my 2928, which 2928 IGT, which I got at on October 30th or 31st of 2019. It's funnily enough, that's not the last time I got a record on Halloween, or around Halloween, which is very funny. Um,
Pumpkin Hill season.
it is Pumpkin Hill
Yeah.
season. I don't know what it is. It's just there's a certain energy in the air, you know. Um, doing lol skip, it's not technically very difficult. It is just a spin dash jump. However, you have a couple of frames to do that spin dash jump, and keep in mind, no other runner had been doing lol skip at the end of runs ever. So to just pull it out, do it in a run, and kind of clutch out a record with it. Um, it was very funny, just how much of a barrier that was for Nixer, because I kept that record for almost 2 years. And it was basically because whenever Nixer would get to lol skip, he'd miss it, and that's just kind of it.
Hmm.
There's not Statics is a very difficult and hard optimized game. So as good as Nixer was, I mean, missing wall skip, you still lose 10 seconds. And that's probably more than enough in most cases to knock you out of the running. Um so Nixer would just have many, many streams, many, many chances to get the record, but just, you know, missed wall skip and would just die, and it would be very heartbreaking. Um I don't know how I do tricks that just make impossible barriers for everyone, but I just do. Um 2020 was an awesome time.
Yeah.
So much happened that
Mm-hmm.
year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good
Um
time.
woo! 2020 gave me a lot of time to speedrun, which in one sense is great. On the other hand, it did distract me a lot from doing stuff I needed to do.
Yeah.
I had started I started doing university at that time, and speedrunning kind of took away a lot of time from that, because speedrunning was the one thing I wanted to do all the time. Um, the first few months of the pandemic were great for speedrunning stuff. I got another hero time, 2148, which was done in a hero story tournament race that I had with Matt Merps. Matt Merps, funny guy. I love him. You should watch his Twitch clips. Very great content. Um, Also around that time, I got a Pac-Man World 2 record, which uh Oh wait, I totally forgot. Oh my god, I was also the first person in Pac-Man World 2 to get a 40-minute time.
Mhm.
I completely forgot about that. Um, whoops,
Unimportant.
unimportant detail. Okay, that one is important.
Yeah.
So around the same time of like October, I think maybe it was November, maybe it's September. I can't quite
Yeah.
remember in my head, but
Maybe it
um,
happened.
it didn't. It's a mystery.
Mm.
It's fictional.
Uh,
We made it up. Um, I can't remember what was the motivation for me to push to get a 40-minute time. I think I had gotten a 41 after SGDQ. Oh my god, I forgot about SGDQ. I went to my first. There's so many stories.
yep.
Flickle. Um. Okay, SGDQ 2019 was a wonderful time. That was the short of it. Uh, I got to meet my wonderful friends for the first time in person. I got to hang out a lot in the practice room and hang out at a, great friend's house and just have a wonderful time.
Yeah.
Um,
It's great
GDQ.
because that's the only event since I started going at in SGDQ 2018 was my first. That's the only event that I've missed since I started going.
Oh,
So
SGDQ 2019.
SGDQ 2019, I was not there.
Damn.
Yeah,
Shit.
it's tragic.
Yeah.
Still keeps me
I
up at night.
had. Oh no, not the
Uh,
2019 miss.
no.
Oh.
Oh well.
Um. I had been admiring GDQ for years. I'd always wanted to do a run at Games Done Quick, but um, like the opportunity never really presented itself because I was young. I had no real way to make it there myself.
Hmm.
Um, it was my mom actually who drove me all the way from my province at the time, which was Manitoba, and drove all the way from Manitoba to Minneapolis, which is like an 8-hour drive, give or take. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
Um,
Shout outs to moms.
shout outs to mom.
My mom drove me to my first SGDQ, and that's a 9.5 hour drive for me. So
Oh, woo.
W.
Yeah, shout outs to moms.
Yeah.
What a great coincidence.
Yeah. I could have gone on my own, but I didn't have to.
Woo!
Yeah.
Just let your parents do it for you.
Yeah. Just have them drive you up there and then leave you there, and I don't. The dedication. Anyway, shout outs to moms.
uh, yeah, shout outs to moms, indeed. Um, so yeah, and got to see my friends. It was great. It was awesome. I think that kind of like put it in my mind that like GDQ is like the safe home for me. Whenever I go to a
Mm.
GDQ event, I feel safe, I feel loved, I feel appreciated, I feel like I can just be me. Um, and of course, seeing my wonderful friends all the time is a magical experience. And like once you do it the first time, you never want to miss it again.
Yeah. Like me in
Like there's not,
SGDQ 2019.
yeah, there's nothing like games done quick. There really
Yeah.
isn't.
COVID
Um,
destroyed me. Oh my god. When they
Yeah, COVID was brutal. SGDQ 2020 was supposed to be like the biggest gaming meetup of all time for me. It was going to be
Yeah.
like all of my friends in TGU, and we were going to have a wonderful kick-ass time, and then the pandemic happened,
That was
so
the
we couldn't
first
do
time
it.
I got into GDQ, and it was their first online. It's like, yep, of course.
Woo!
Woo,
Y-
great
My
times.
first GDQ event that I ran in was an online event,
Yeah, that's
actually.
so.
So,
Yeah, same.
I'll get into
Obviously,
that in time. In
of
about
course, of
7 years
course.
from now when I talk about Pac-Man
Yeah.
World 2. So, short of it was I ran Pac-Man World 2 a little bit after SGDQ, got like a 41 and popped out for a little bit and then popped right back in because I realized, "Oh, hey, I could get a like that same 41 I got, I could have gotten a 40-minute time." I was like, "Oh, I could do it."
Mm.
So, I pushed hard and hard and tried to get consistent. The final boss was a killer for me though. I'd always get runs to the end game. I think I had like at least 5 or 6 runs make it to Spooky, which is the final boss of that game, and I just lose it because the final boss is really hard. You have to do a difficult stun lock, um, which is, it's consistent, but you have to do it, and it's
Mm,
hard. It's hard to do it consistently. There's like slight, minute timing details that can make or break the setup,
yeah. It
and
turns out humans
you know,
aren't machines. Execution can be difficult.
I know, right?
No,
No.
tragic.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, I just kept choking. But eventually one day even though I choked a Spooky fight, I ended up breaking the minute barrier with a 40 59, a
Hmm.
classic. Um and I felt really happy about that. It was eventually later on that McKitty took the record back, or got the record himself for the first time, which was also awesome. And there was another player at the time, Frogs. Um, can't remember the full username, but Frogs is also a great Pac-Man World 2 player, and he got like a 40-30, and that was pretty impressive for the time. Early on in the pandemic, that was around the time that one of my best friends, his name is Anvar. Anvar is super intelligent, super smart guy. He has done a shit ton of reverse engineering work for Pac-Man World 2, Sonic Adventure 2, um, stuff like that. And he's still active today, making great discoveries and stuff like that. And it's super rad. I love that guy to death. He ended up finding cheat codes in Pac-Man World 2, which, by the way, did you know there's cheat codes in Pac-Man World 2?
No.
I didn't. I don't think nobody knew until Anvar found them. Um, they're just like simple to do too. You just like go to the start area, like Pack Village, and you just like go on top of a platform, and then you pause the game and you hit some button combinations, and you can unlock all the levels. You can give yourself tokens. You can give
Hmm.
yourself all that stuff. Um,
Makes practicing a
very
breeze.
woo! Yeah, it does actually. It's super
Hmm.
cool. Um, Especially since Pac-Man World 2 is a very loosey-goosey game. It's very simple. There's not like upgrades or anything like that you get. Everything's kind of like what you see is what you get sort of thing, if that makes sense. Which is a philosophy in like game design that I like. But um so many layers, so many details. Um I I can ramble on forever and ever. It is kind of incredible that I have that power.
Hmm.
Um Um, After messing around with the cheat codes, I ended up doing a Pac-Man World 2 run, and it was 4011. Oops. Um,
Oopsies.
it was like incredible run. I clutched up. I had the best spooky of all time, and I, it was like my prized accomplishment, and that record stood for at least a couple of years. Uh, I'm still mind blown that I managed to clutch that run off. It Insane, insane run. Uh, SA2, I guess not a lot of interesting notes other than it was kind of like more the peak of my competition phase where I'd be competing against other people in ILs and stuff. Um, Mainly people that come to mind are like Lexi, aka Co-Empathy, wonderful girl. Um, Wonderful, insanely good at SA Sonic Adventure stuff, just all the games that she plays. Really, really awesome player. Um, Someone else who I was playing against at that time. Uh, JW13. JW13 ended up finding Fling in Final Chase, which is an easier version of FC Skip, which it turns out you can just jump later on that rail that gives you skewed gravity to make it RTA viable.
Hmm.
Whoops. I
Oopsies.
guess no one thought about that. Um, JW13, phenomenal ILer, great artist too, I gotta say. Shout outs to artists.
True.
I love art. Um, and yeah, Sonic Adventure 2, great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The Dark Story record with the introduction of Fling had some competition, which I think Lexi got the record. I tried getting a 22-minute time, but Drum Basher got it first, um, which was a pretty big moment for Drum B Basher. And then it took me about a couple of weeks of serious on the clock grinding to get that time back, which was rather painful. And I think it kind of spewed a Dark Story hatred within me, because when you grind Dark Story for a long time, um, you start to notice how aggravating the start of that run is, and how painful like getting runs out of the early game is in that category. Um, so I just started naturally being more inclined to play Hero Story.
Mm.
My speedrunning was kind of all over the place in 2021, which was both dealing with university pressure and stuff like that, because I started, you know, having a lot of anxiety around university. Also, I mean, being indoors all year, like the
Yeah.
pandemic was very mentally destructive on me in some sense, but also very mentally opening as well. Um, I'd also started thinking about uh gender shit. Um which
Fair.
that's a whole conversation.
Yeah.
Um the short of it is that in 2018 I had a conversation with an SA2 runner at the time, Jazz Ensemble, wonderful wonderful person. Um and she told me that gender is much like sexuality, and that it's on a spectrum. And that idea stuck in my head. That stuck in my head for a while. Actually, it didn't leave my brain at all. It would kind of like be a question that I constantly ask myself and then constantly deny myself of,
Mm.
and whether or not I wanted to be a girl. And
You can just do that.
you can just do it. You
It's
can just do it.
crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's actually awesome, actually. You can just be who you want to be.
Wild
I didn't
stuff.
want to accept that for a long time, but after pondering over it, I just could not get it out of my head, and eventually I just had to do something. So eventually I started like, transitioning in private with a couple friends of mine. Shout out to Alice Stellar. Alice Stellar, fucking wonderful, lovely human being. I love Alice Stellar very much. And shout outs A Sinister Taka, the goat of Crazy Gadget, also a wonderful guy. My best friend for sure. Um, and um, I kind of coincided a couple of events with me coming out. Um, One of the things was the SA2 full game category sweep.
Hmm.
Not that it was necessarily related, but I ended up making a little teaser out of it. Anyway, I had the Hero Story record, the Dark Story record, I had the Last Story record as well. Um I think I had Dark NG Plus as well for a time. And then after thinking about it, I was just like, why don't I, like, I'm really close. Why don't I just get all the full game records? And so I got the Any Percent record, the Hero NG Plus record, the All Stories NG Plus, which then left the one category that was there, 180 emblems.
Mm.
And it, I had a
Yeah.
lot of dedication to this sweep thing. So I basically spent my month or two after finishing my first like year of university just grinding 180. I would wake up and I would just grind all of the A ranks and stuff, because 180 is a very unique category in that the amount of stuff you have to do in that category is like exponentially larger compared to the rest of the game. You have to do all of the A ranks, which involve score routing and stuff like that to maximize score, because score is what gets you an A rank, not time in that game. Um, so learning all the score routes, learning all the boss routes or boss rush routes, kart racing, all that stuff, all the extra stuff. Learning about wrong warps as well for cannon's core purposes. Uh, Animal routing for Chow, and also Chow in general. There's entire 3 hours of the run that's dedicated to evolving your Chow and racing afterwards, and doing karate as well. All this stuff that you just have to learn and know about. And somehow I had infinite time on my hands, so I just crushed all of that into a nice little like grape juice, and I just drank it. And I managed to get the 180 record fairly quickly from Talon. And that record stood for like 6 or so months, give or take, until Trader got the 180 record. Um, which was a phenomenal accomplishment by him.
What were the what was the length of those runs?
The run, so 180 emblem is a long category.
Yeah.
My PB was a like a 850-39
Jesus
RTA.
fucking
So
Christ.
that's 9 hours. Trader
Yeah.
got an 847-34. Um, so super long category.
Yeah.
um, I have actually tried like playing 180 again and like trying to get a newer record in time, but man, it's so much. It's so much work, so much effort.
Mhm.
Um, it even led to my hand issues in 2025, which I'll get to. I know we're like 5 years away from that, but we're getting there.
Eventually, eventually.
Eventually, so many stuff, so many details. Whoa. Um, so yeah, accomplishing the SA2 sweep was a wonderful feeling, a wonderful accomplishment. I felt. Don't remember if that's the only time anyone has gotten the full game sweep. I hope it's not the last. I think it'd be cool if Flubby Bubbler, aka Flubler, ends up getting it, but um, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it's a lot to do. I wouldn't
Yeah.
expect anyone to like really push that hard. Um,
It's
but
also
getting a
just
full
so
game,
unnecessary. But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, true. But the full game sweep is a cool feeling.
It is cool, but like goddamn.
Yeah. Um, and then it was my GQ run. So I had gotten accepted at Summer Games Done Quick 2021 online for a bid war between Hero Story and Dark Story. Luckily, some oil barons came in clutch and uh, gave us enough money to do Hero Story, which is kind of like my master thesis.
Yeah.
It's kind of like my thing. This is what I've grinded so much time into and practiced so long for. And I got to do that run. And it was a phenomenal showcase of all of the work I put into SA2, phenomenal showcase of all the tricks, all the little exploits, little funny skips. Got to do Bofa. Got like it was a culmination of all the community's efforts into uh just like a showcase of what SA2 has to offer, and I'm really happy I got to do that opportunity. I think out of all the GDQ runs I've done, that is definitely my best executed, and to do it on my first one,
Mhm.
like I still feel really good about it.
Yeah.
Um,
It's rare you get to knock it out of the park first try.
yeah. Um, it's so hard. It's so
Yeah.
hard to do a GDQ run. Like
I
you
will
go
say
up on
being at
stage.
home probably makes it a little easier because you don't have to look behind you and be like, "Oh fuck, that's right."
Yeah. Or like, you have to do it on a completely different setup than what
Also
you
true,
have
yeah.
normally, which is super annoying. But
Mhm.
luckily, I didn't have to worry about that. Um, yeah. Uh, I coincided that event with my, or like that run with as a send off to my old self and as a transition into my new self. So a week after that GDQ run, I came out as trans, and that was wonderful. A lot of people supported me, which I mean, thank God for the speedrunning community,
Yeah, right.
honestly. Like, without the speedrunning community, I would have not have felt as comfortable transitioning and not have felt like it was the right thing to do without,
Mhm.
just all the support around me. It is the safety and like support of the speedrunning community that keeps me alive and like
Yeah.
makes me happy. And I think without how wonderful we are as a community, um, it would have been possible for me to grow as much as I have. So
Yeah.
thank you. We
Speedrunning is sick. As it turns
Woo!
out.
Yeah. Honestly, a lot of my speedrunning is kind of like whatever the hell I was interested in at the time from like 2021 to like 2022. Um So I would just do ILs. Didn't really push any like real full game projects at the time, other than oh yeah, I did some Sonic 1 glitchless and I did some Sonic 2 glitched and I also did some S3K glitched. And
These are the games I'm more familiar with, finally.
yeah, okay. I guess I should have talked about Classic Sonic. I forgot about my Classic Sonic sprints in like 2019 to 2020. A large part of that was inspired by Joey Baby 69. I love that guy.
Wow,
Shout outs
he's
to
on my
Joey Baby.
television right
Woo!
now. That's
Let's go,
that's
Joey.
crazy.
Um, Joey Baby 69, phenomenal classic Sonic player. I love that guy. And also Zaxxon 96,
Mhm.
who is also phenomenal.
Yeah.
And was insanely cracked in like 2019
I was in
and
the room for
stuff.
the AGDQ 2020 S3K race.
I know. Oh my god, what a sad poor
He,
Zaxxon,
yeah,
man.
that was a bit unfortunate, but it's a good
Yeah,
reminder that S3K is fucking hard.
S3K is an impossible game.
It's
I
so
I have
fucking
ran it.
stupid.
It is insane that anyone would even try. Even Supersonic's recent run was insane. Like,
Yeah.
no soft locks at all. Like,
Yeah,
holy
that's
shit.
crazy. It's a shame I
Because that
missed that run.
Oh, you did? Oh, I think it's worth a watch.
I was one of the
Um,
commentators. This is a joke.
oh.
Pay attention.
Autism alert. No. By the way, this might have been obvious. I have autism. I'm very good
A
at taking
speedrunner with
people at face
autism. This is
value.
crazy. No, okay.
Woo!
Alright.
Um, okay. But yeah, classic Sonic games are really hard, and
Yes.
I've had some fun doing them, but glitched is like I don't know if I have the courage to do glitched again for
Yeah.
any of the classic Sonic games, which was Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
I think Sonic 2 is fun. Sonic 1 seems more tedious, and then S3K is just actually bullshit. But Sonic 2 is that
Yeah,
good middle ground. Like, I've run that and had fun with it. It's
yeah.
crazy.
I think I think the scale of Sonic 2 is what you make of it, like in terms of glitched. Like
Yeah,
you can
true.
do like the zips in Metropolis, for example. Like those are fun to do. I
Oh,
like
yeah.
doing them. The Hilltop Act 1 one is pretty cool.
Yeah, that
Uh
one's pretty simple. Oil Ocean was my
yeah.
first one, Act 2. Just, wee!
Yeah,
Shout outs
yeah,
to
that
Slope
that zip
Glitch.
that zip is so cool. Um but like the skill ceiling in Sonic 2 is nuts and you can
Mhm.
do some stupid fucking bullshit.
Yeah, it
Um
becomes bullshit, but that's why I don't do the bullshit, and that makes it fun.
yeah, exactly. Like if you just don't do it, you can just make the speedrun fun. And like honestly, I think that's kind of like the peak of speedrunning once you reach that mentality, or if you're already there for that matter. You just do it because it's fun and you do
Mhm.
what's fun. And you don't
True.
you just push yourself and what you want and what you think you can accomplish. Like that's enlightenment. That's enlightened speedrunning. It took me a while to get there, but
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting to that point now, if I haven't already.
Yeah,
Um,
I finally hit that point, and that's why I haven't like grinded speedruns in 2 years. Because I'm just
fuck
like,
yes.
oh yeah, I need to not for a minute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That
yeah.
shit,
It
that shit hard.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Especially since like you mostly do Mario, right?
Unfortunately.
Oh, so
No,
sad.
no, Mario's
Why?
fun, but not when you're doing 30 frame perfects in a 5 minute period or
Yeah,
whatever the
that
fuck it is now.
that shit is fucking stupid, man.
Yay! I love
It kind
life.
of the frame perfect stuff. It kind of reminds me of like Battle for Bikini Bottom, where like I swear to God, like 90% of the things in that game are frame perfect, and it's just like, what the hell, man?
Yeah,
Like,
I couldn't even tell you.
come on.
Yep.
What a silly world that we live in.
Mario 1's great. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's done
Yeah.
a lot of good for me, so I'll give it that. Like, I became more of a showcaser rather than a grinder when it comes. That
I think that's
sounded
a good.
weird. Anyway,
No, 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 no. I get it. I get it.
but yeah, like I don't know. It's more fun in that sense. Like grinding that game has become such a chore now. Almost like all those games at this level. Just you
Hmm.
get to a point where it's like, okay, I need a minute. And that
Yeah.
minute might
Yeah.
become a couple years, but it's fine.
Hmm. True.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But
Um. Yeah. Um. 2022. Uh. It
that's a
was
year.
really. Yeah. It was a year. Holy moly. Um. I'm really happy. Pac-Man World 2 had a death in the community, unfortunately, which
Hmm.
I don't know if that's the right vibe for this podcast, if you
I
think
mean,
it's
if it's important, it's important.
okay, gotcha. Um, the death of a community member, Lauren. Lauren had been a part of the Pac-Man World 2 community for a long time, like even back in the early days of like 2015, 14, and she found so many strats for Pac-Man World 2. The majority of the speed run, I think, is honestly her work. A lot of the difficult strats that we thought we would never do in runs, she ended up finding kind of ways to do them. Uh, even though even a lot of hard IL strats, like she found a lot of them. Uh, she even found a skip at the end of the second to last stage in the run before Spooky, where you would just kind of clip through an invisible wall and be able to go to the end like 10 to 15 seconds faster. That was her finding, and like she was so influential in the game's development, and it was really sad to hear of her passing. It was eventually McKitty that took that torch and ended up beating my run and getting the first 39, which I'm really happy that McKitty did that. Like I was interested in pushing it, but like I didn't have active interest in playing Pac-Man World 2. But uh, McKitty made a phenomenal showcase both in that run and at SGDQ 2022, and I'm very thankful for that. Um,
Yeah, that's a
I don't,
big deal of a barrier too. That's not just a
yeah,
minute barrier, that's a
yeah,
10-minute barrier. That's a new number at the start.
s- y- new number.
New number
Yeah,
unlocked.
it's like you have to do. You not only have to move excellently, you have to do all the pot, like all the strats. You have to hit the one cycle whale. You have to hit the insane Clyde as well, which Clyde is like the most infamous boss in that game. It's really stupid. It's really hard. Um, McKitty's phenomenal, and thank God, thank God he did it. That's all I have to say. I have no idea if I'll come back to Pac-Man World 2, but I think it's a cool game. I think it's
Mhm.
an awesome game, and I think more people should run it.
Yeah. I'll have to replay it again because it's been like 15 years since I've seen it. But
Yeah. Hmm. Um. but 2020, the rest of 2022 after SGDQ was mainly my SA2 grind. I had wanted to try and get the full IL level sweep in SA2, and there's like 170 ILs in that game.
Yeah.
I don't know why I even thought I could try, but I stupidly thought I could, and I went for it, and I got pretty deep. I got all of the Shadow ILs and the Knuckles ILs. Um, so 2 out of the 6 character sweeps is pretty impressive, honestly, but it's really hard.
Yeah.
It was really hard to do that, especially in the short amount of time I had in between the transitions of school years, because I was doing this would have been my 3rd year of university at this point, and also trying to deal with moving into a new suite and stuff like that, which was a mess. Um, Eventually, it was kind of thrown to the wayside as I just started feeling like streaming hero story attempts. Uh, and it was a sinister taco in one of my streams who said, "You should do OBT, lol." Which, by the way, now I have to explain what OBT means. So OBT is Opium Boyfriend Toaster. It
Oh,
is
of
a completely
course.
nonsense Cardi B lyric, I think, or I think it's a Cardi B leak based off of it. Some stupid shit post.
Mhm.
Um, and like me, wow 123759, great guy, I love that guy, and a sinister taco. We're all just sitting in a VC one night, wondering about um like whether SA2 was going to get any new tricks or developments anymore, and we thought, nope, wasn't going to happen. And then we started talking about Final Rush, and we realized, oh hey, there's a gap in the kill plane here. What if we just went there? It might be faster, and it was. Oops.
Oops.
Um, and so it saved like 7 seconds over a normal FR skip.
Hmm.
And that was a big improvement because the only other way to improve Final Rush at the time was fast FR, which is basically going through a kill plane, which is
Mhm.
really stupid. Um,
I remember that from
y-
the Salt video.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just bullshit. It's not real.
It's not
Um,
real. It can't hurt
and
you.
so, true. Um, so finding a way to improve Final Rush skip was cool, but the challenge was is that it was much harder. You had to get a lot more comfortable with gravity manipulation and weaving just slightly under and past kill planes just to make it over another one, and then do a complicated out of bounds route in order to make it all the way there. Um, and so I think I just kind of practiced it on and off, but it was when Taco told me to just do it because I had wanted to get the 20 in Hero Story for a super long time. Um, I think I even go over this in the video that Dawn made,
Hmm.
um, which,
Shout out Dawn.
shout outs to Dawn SR, great guy, uh, great speedrunner, great video maker too. Um,
True.
um, so I'll just be very brief in that, I'd always wanted a 20 for the longest time, but like it kind of felt like an impossible goal to reach. Until I started doing OBT and started kind of pushing the times down further and further. That like I felt it was more possible and more within reason. And so I spent about a month and a half like really grinding Hero Story and improving my ILs to allow for some wiggle room with the RNG. And then it was like October 30th about where I ended up just having the magical run of a lifetime where I got a really good start in middle game, except for like Pyramid Cave, where I made some mistakes and I felt really angry about it. But it was just RNG manipulation to get the Death Trooper set that I got, which was really good. And then on the first possible attempt that I had that was 20 pace into like King Boom Boo, or basically the last quarter of the run, I clutched it out. So that felt pretty good. And then, the big pop off, big gay balls, et cetera, et
Big gay
cetera.
balls. I do remember
Um,
that.
yeah. Um, that is still my 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 best run of all time.
Mhm.
It's not really even close. Like
Yeah.
it's the culmination of literally everything I've worked towards in SA2, and it just came into existence.
There it is.
And that run has held up for almost 4 years now. It
Crazy.
I'm hoping Flubler beats it soon because Flubler is the only other person who has a 20, let
Mhm.
alone is even close to me. Um and so Flubler's incredible player. So keep an eye out on him
Yeah,
for
what's
the
the record
future
time right now?
of SA2. The record is currently a 2053 uh
Wow.
loadless
So,
variant one.
and it stood for almost 4 years.
Yeah.
That is so
So-
crazy.
yeah. When people talk about me in SO2, it's like I was so ahead of everyone else at the time. Like I single-handedly pushed the game down. Well, I say single-handedly. Obviously, the community found all the strats and stuff. Like I struggle to be like a strat finder and like a scientist super very well because it's hard to
Yeah.
be a glitch hunter. Um like I've tried being one, but there's just some people who just think so outside the box and just magically find stuff that makes no sense but work anyway. Um, it's the culmination of all the community's work. But just even despite saying that, like people thought I was so ahead of everyone else at the time, and that it would be kind of an impossible task for anyone else to make it up to my level. Like that's like the community consensus on how far ahead I was at the time. Even like looking at other people's messages, it is very clear that like no one thought they could get there. Um, which in some sense feels good, like in terms of like the keeping the world record for a long time sort of thing. But at the same time, it gets a little lonely at the top.
Hmm.
Like I think competition is important for a community to thrive,
Mhm.
and it's been a long time since that competition has happened. Finally, it's happening now with
Yeah.
Flubler. So I don't know how I feel about it. um, I'm happy things are changing though. I think that's the important thing.
You'll just do the classic beat it the day it gets beaten thing, as always, right? No,
Mm,
not quite.
surely that will happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah,
Historically, I mean.
yeah. I 2023 from 2023 onwards, honestly, is kind of like the growth phase of my speedrunning stuff. Um, I guess the new thing to add in 2023 was early 2023. I'd gotten a 29 flat in Sonic Story. Um, make a long story short, I had a huge mental barrier about trying to beat Nixer, so I thought I could never beat him. And then eventually, I like just wanted to push for a 28-minute time. I got a 29 flat, and then I had other stuff happening in my life at the time, so I never got back around to it. Eventually, I do want to push Sonic Story more, though. It just takes a lot of time and effort to like really improve at that game because the game is such a high skill ceiling, honestly.
Mhm.
Um, shout outs to Eleanor Wonderland, by the way, Wonderland682, phenomenal player, phenomenal person. Just go check them out. Um, I did entertain some SA2 ILs, but mostly I actually started playing Heroes in 2023.
My
And it's
condolences.
funny, yeah, Sonic Heroes. It's the game that keeps on giving.
Hmm.
Um, But no, I think Sonic Heroes is actually. I'm gonna make a case for Sonic Heroes.
All
Sonic
right, all right.
Heroes, casually, dog shit,
Yeah.
terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But like Sonic Heroes, it has like the perfect vibes. Like it has really good art design, IMO,
Yeah.
really good, really fun levels, really fun music, really like just a great game, honestly. Except in its gameplay. The gameplay is kind of like super janky, doesn't work at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when you speedrun it, you can understand all of the little sort of inconsistencies that happen normally with the game and like find ways to work around them while also implementing a whole bag of tricks on its own. You got like midair kicks, you got like wall gliding where you can extend your glide to like zoom across a wall and like like make it across large distances. um you can even do like wall bounces where you bounce off a slope with a with a glide and like gain some height as well. um I don't think it happens super much in RTA, but in tacits it's a little nuts. um Light dash cancels. Like the game's actions per minute is so fast. Um, you do so many actions in that game, and you got these big sprawling stages that you can just zoom through really quickly. It's a really cool run, honestly. And there's like 4 different variants of teams to play as too, with their own unique little gimmicks and stuff. So I think as a speed game, it's phenomenal. I wouldn't have gotten into it if it wasn't for New SR, which once again, phenomenal person. You should go check her out. Um, Also made me a furry. Oops. Which, by the way, yeah, I'm a furry. What a shocker! I know. You like look at the Catherine Lilac stream, and you just like see a cat, and it's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Very fitting.
Trans furry autistic speedrunner. Shocking.
Woo!
Sorry. Not beating
We're gonna
any
put
of
all
the
the
allegation.
we're gonna put all the labels on you today. That's how we roll here. Um,
Honestly, go off.
um, yeah. Uh, so I was very inspired to play Heroes by Neo, and I ended up pushing really hard in Heroes, specifically in the LTS category, limited tech selection, basically avoiding bot boosts because bot boosts are really hard. And I can shout out a lot of people in the Heroes community, like Deku, who pushed me really hard and gave me some great competition. Joey Freefall, who is a wonderful guy. I love him so much. Uh, Critical Sid for just being Critical Sid and being cool and awesome. Um, Trell as well. Trell is an amazing glitch hunter. Trell has found so many just strats for that game. And Heroes is a game that has infinite possibilities. We don't even know what's possible yet because the game is so janky. It doesn't work. Um, Chances are you can do some wacky shit and it will save you time somehow. Um, in just the weirdest of places. Um, and Trell is one of the only people who has really pushed that, especially in terms of bot boosting as well. And Revo as well, who has pushed the bot boosting meta significantly over the years. Um, there are bot boosts that will not be done in runs because of how hard they are, or you can just be Trell and do them. Like that's how deep the bot boosting rabbit hole goes, and I have not even understood a lick of it. So I just end up playing LTS, and most other people do as well. Um, Ended up getting the Team Sonic record in like October of 2023 fairly quickly. Pushed it to a whole new minute barrier of 52, I think. 52, which was an insane time. Deku beat it because of course he's Deku and Deku's just cracked at every game he plays. And I think I've held the Team Sonic record since like April of 2024. Um, Me and Deku have pushed Team Chaotix and Team Rose down as well. I had the LTS sweep for a time as well for about a couple of years until Mew finally broke it with the Team Dark LTS record, which grats to her. Just great stuff all around. Um, that also coincided with the LTA at Pace, which
Oh yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
We don't have to get into that.
Uh, what? Well, was the like event itself bad?
No, I think it was good. Like
Okay.
I think the LTA was awesome. And we had a good
Yeah,
time.
the
I think
aftermath's the aftermath, but I have great things to say about my experiences at Pace. Luckily,
Woo.
so
Okay.
I mean,
I see, I see.
having the, I mean, the LT is cool. That was big for the community, right? So
Hmm. Yeah, the LTAs were kick ass.
yeah, yeah,
Hero
yeah.
Story also had an LTA as well, which
Nice.
was fun.
Yeah.
Um and then Heroes kind of went on the docket as I kind of mostly focused on school and also SRB2.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, SRB2. Oh my god.
That's how this all started.
It goes full circle. Wow, look at
Yeah.
that. So, I had already mentioned like 7 years ago that I had ran some ILs in SRB2 when I was like 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
When 2.2 came out, which is like like the most recent like major release of the game, um added like gave the game a whole new visual like overhaul, um and music and all that stuff, and added some new levels. It was super cool. um it was a big enough version that I started feeling compelled to speedrun it, and so I did some runs of version 2.2 for a time in like 2020 and 2021. And then um shout outs to Lemon and Refrag, by the way. Refrag Greg's also a statics runner as well. Wonderful person, funny guy. He's also a great reverse engineer, and so is Lemon as well. There's a lot of there's a lot of programmers in the speedrunning community. I wonder why.
No, no way to
Um,
know.
no way to know. Impossible.
No.
Um, and eventually in 2024, I was hanging out a lot with Eleanor, Wonderland, and Wonderland was doing SRB2 runs, and I do this thing where I copy, where like I engage in the same speed run that my friends are. Um, I don't know why I do it. I just like playing games with friends. It's kind of how I go. And I came back to SRB2, and of course, you know me, I have to get a new minute barrier, so I ended up getting the first sub 20 IGT in that game, and that was a pretty big accomplishment. Vibes Turf would end up kind of swinging around and getting a way better time than me. I'm like the girl that swoops in and gets a time because it's funny, and then someone else actually does the job better and cleaner. Um, and Vibes Turf did that, and Vibes Turf's an insane SRE2 runner, insanely cracked. Um, and so yeah, I kind of, and then the start of 2025, I started kind of like dancing around Cave Story. I came back to Cave Story and did runs of that. I got like a 57-minute time, which is like pretty up there on the leaderboard. Um, Periwinkle was also cracked at that game. Periwinkle did some Mario 1 stuff as well.
Yes, I recall the
It all
name.
goes full
Yeah.
circle. Woo! Um, and then I started playing SA2 again because I wanted to stream 180 emblem runs. I wanted to come back to that game, get 180 emblem record, and grind for a Twitch partner because I had just graduated out of school and I didn't want to necessarily go find jobs immediately
Yeah.
because yeah, I'm not like I've only recently been learning how to be a grown up recently, like in terms of adulting and stuff, and it's hard. It's really
Honestly,
hard.
same. I'm
Um,
27.
yeah, we're all
Yeah,
learning at the
we're
end of
all
the
learning.
day.
Does the learning ever stop, really?
Sonic Schoolhouse. I don't.
Oh,
We're getting there.
okay,
Um,
okay.
but I had grinded 180 emblems like for 8 hours almost every day to the point where my hands were hurting. Then I did some ILs, which hurt my hands even more. And then I committed like a silly goose to doing a full 180 run the day before I left for going back to family and stuff. And that fucked up my hands really hard. Thankfully, my right hand is in a much better position, but I gave my right hand flexor tendonitis. So
Mm.
my flexors were always kind of in pain, and they would get rapidly in pain very quickly. Um, so that took me out of speedrunning for a year, I want to say. Um,
Jeez.
I It was a painful experience, like losing one of your
Literally.
favorite hobbies.
Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, true, true. Um, Losing one of your favorite hobbies is mentally terrifying,
Mhm.
and that's something I just had to live with. Like, I had pushed my hand so much that it just needed to heal, and, I was always urgent to, like, try and, come back to speedrunning and, like, push the times down, "Go speedrunning, woo woo,
Yeah.
yeah." But every week I tried, every time I, like, tried to go back to my usual routine, I'd hurt myself again, and then I have
Mm.
to wait it out and do all that stuff, so speedrunning just kinda ended up taking a back seat for me. It took me a long, long time to get into, like, the physiotherapy routine that I was prescribed, which was
Mm.
just strengthening and icing, healing, stretching as well is a huge part of it.
Mhm.
Honestly, I guess for anyone who is in a similar boat, you really got to just do the strengthening. You
Yeah.
really like the strengthening is the important part because you want to build up endurance in your tendons, your muscle to be able to reach the peaks of where you were at and even perhaps exceed those peaks.
Mhm.
And you only really get that by strengthening um, and
Yeah.
stretching. And also make sure you stick to like slowly building up the amount of time in which you engage with a hobby or activity for however long and stick to it. If you like, your brain is very good at deceiving you. um,
Yeah.
in that you can like, you can kinda just, like, push through pain, but you really shouldn't,
Mm.
especially if it's a recent injury, um, because if you try pushing through it, you're just gonna get flare-ups, and then you're just kinda gonna keep going in the seesaw pattern or
Mhm.
zigzag pattern of growth and improvement, and that doesn't really get you anywhere.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I stretch before speedrunning every time now
yeah,
for a little bit.
yeah, mhm. It's important to take care of your hands,
Mm.
because it it hurts. It sucks. It sucks to not be able to do the thing that you love. Um,
Yeah.
and I've learned that the hard way. And subsequently, with that hand pain, I think I generally sort of relaxed myself and got to understand a lot about my mindset when it comes to speedrunning and stuff like that. I had a lot of time and I had people, wonderful people to talk to. Shout outs to Witherman, aka Hope, wonderful person, funny, funny little creature. Um, they helped me a lot with kind of mindset evaluation
Mhm.
and sort of speed running and what I want to do with myself in the future. Um, so yeah, shout outs to Weatherman for sure. Um, I ended up at the start of 2026, after playing Metroid Prime 4, which bad.
Damn.
Then I played Metroid Dread, which really good. And then I was like, you know what? I'm kind of in the mood to play some Metroid Prime. Like, I've been wanting to speedrun Metroid Prime for years. It was Justin DM's SGDQ 2019 run, I think. Um, which was phenomenal run. That caught my interest in terms of playing Metroid Prime. And I had always tried to like kind of play Metroid Prime, but it was really hard and really scary. That game is so hard. That game is so hard. Moving in that game is like 1,200 different challenges, and each room has its own little intricacies that you just have to know and you have to learn. And even slight mistakes can lead to run deaths because that game is a single segment run. If you die, then it doesn't count because the game's ran by IGT and IGT is saved on the file. So reloading a file sets the IGT back, and that's not single segment anymore.
Mm.
So trying to do runs with that was impossible, but somehow I stuck through it, and I I think I have like an hour time now. Don't know when I'll come back to it. I want to push that game more. T3's record is insane, by the way. I'd highly recommend giving that a watch
Mm.
if you are so inclined about Prime.
It's Prime
And
gaming.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And then I guess the last thing, let's talk about Sonic Schoolhouse.
Yeah.
Um, it all comes together to culminate into the recent thing that happened. Holy moly. Um, so how the hell did I end up running Sonic Schoolhouse in front of like 30,000 people? Well, like like I don't know how many people were in the crowd, probably like 50 or 60. That crowd was like ginormous for Sonic Schoolhouse.
As it should be.
As it should be. You're right.
Yeah.
So, in 2018, I want to say, um, me and Jet Seth Radio were in a call together, and we were like, "What if we just ran Sonic Schoolhouse?" So we boot up a Windows XP VM, and we set up Sonic Schoolhouse, and we start doing runs. We do runs of Math Blue Door, and we make a whole leaderboard out of it and everything. So that's how Sonic Schoolhouse has a speedrun.com page.
Hmm.
Um, then we sort of invited Ada. Can't remember her name, like Adalyn. Um, where's the Sonic Schoolhouse server? uh, Adalyn, 64DS. I think she has done stuff for other communities as well, like maybe Donkey Kong. I don't remember. Anyway, um, wonderful girl. And then we just started kind of shit posting about Sonic Schoolhouse, and then it was Spectral who came about, who was on my couch for the run, and he did some reverse engineering. He actually gave a shit about the game and optimized it because he played it as a kid. Like seriously, I had never played it obviously before 2018, so he did some nice work on that, and kind of changed up the leaderboards and stuff like that. Um, so Spectral is the actual goat of Sonic Schoolhouse. And then around the after like AGDQ, like Witherman was telling me like, hey, you should probably submit Sonic Schoolhouse. That would totally get in for Silly Block. I'm like, I guess so, eh?
Sure.
So I kind of like rushing. I like kind of rushed to make a submission video for the event, and I just give it a little funny spin and a twirl, and I also give it a bid war as well for the grade, and it gets in unsurprisingly. It was actually really funny. I was driving my car all the way from my parents' house to my house, which is like super long trip. It was like 30 hours.
Holy fuck.
And as I'm driving through the beautiful mountains that are in British Columbia,
Mm.
I just start getting DMs from people. I'm like, wait, did I actually get in with Sonic Schoolhouse? And then I get a message from GTM of all people. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I did. Yep,
Of
yep.
course, of course.
um, that was funny. Uh, I like barely practice Sonic Schoolhouse until like the days leading up to the run itself at the event. Um, which like I had to make sure I knew what the other grades were, and some of the grades have like more difficult matching problems compared to like grade 4 for some reason.
Hmm.
I don't know why. Like I think grade 3 was harder than grade No, I think grade 2 was harder than grade 3 for some reason
Hmm.
in the matching minigame. And I'm like, what the heck is happening here? What are we doing? Um, but obviously it was either gonna be kindergarten or grade 4. There's like no other
Yeah.
categories to do. Uh Luckily grade 4 won, and I gotta say, Sonic Schoolhouse was definitely not my best executed run because my brain literally just started getting overstimulated, and I could not think anymore about halfway through that run. My brain started malfunctioning, which is why I made a lot of the silly choices that I did. But I think it worked. Not only did it work to the run's benefit, but also the crowd for that run was phenomenal.
Mhm.
They played into the bits. They played so well. They laughed so hard. They started saying Sonic's voice lines. They just started repeating them, and I thought that was the funniest thing ever. Um, Phenomenal crowd. I think that was my favorite run I've ever done at a GDQ event.
Really?
And like, yeah, like I don't there's there's nothing like a whole community of people who's telling you, "Great start, but you haven't given me the
The
whole
whole
answer
answer
yet."
yet. You better believe I saw this run.
True, surely. Um, and Hypnotics, bless Hypnotics' heart. I love Hypnotics. The bloke just hit the 6-7 like
He
crazy.
You
I
know, when
can't
I
believe
saw the like, I hadn't seen the run yet. I watched it like a few nights ago, and when I saw the numbers, I was like, "This will happen. I'm calling it now." And I was so happy when my prediction came true.
what a coincidence. That is like God's gift from heaven to me.
Yeah.
Like, what are the odds that the numbers line up exactly in that way and Sonic is right beside them? Like, like the numbers spawn at like set locations at the start, but they bounce randomly in a random direction. So,
Mhm.
like, insane luck.
You love to
I'm
see
really
it.
happy. Yeah, I'm really happy with how that run went. I'm really happy that people enjoyed Sonic Schoolhouse. Maybe like 10 years from now, I think me and Spectral will submit a two-player run. I don't think we're I don't think any of the world's ready for another Sonic Schoolhouse run until like 5 years from now. But
Yeah.
whenever we're ready, we're going to do it.
Wonderful.
And that is like everything up to now.
Yeah, because that
I've
happened like a week ago.
Yeah. Um, I've been dealing with more hand pain in my left hand now as opposed to my right. My right hand's actually the best it's ever been, but
Mm.
my left hand still has some issues, but you know, dealing with it, slowly recovering. And I think just in terms of speedrunning, I think I'm just gonna have fun. I think I'm just gonna randomly decide on a whim what I want to do and likely just play along with my friends and have a fun time doing it. And also providing, a comfy space for people. Because in the past few years, I've realized like the community is so much more important than like times or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's having fun with the community and fostering a healthy one that matters to me more. Um, and I hope that I can keep doing that for years to come while also being funny. It's also important to be funny as
Mm.
possible.
Yeah.
In the name of Jellyfish Swimmer, you're born, you're cringe, and then you die.
Wonderful. I'll have to remember that.
But yeah,
Wow.
that's my
That's
speedrun history.
that's
Merry
you.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. We did it. Well, I didn't do anything, but
Well, do you happen to have any questions?
questions. I mean, anything I had to ask, you pretty much answered anyway. I'm trying to think because everything I know you do, you talked about. I even had to make sure you mentioned classic Sonic since that's like the only thing I'm really familiar with. So,
Woo! Yeah.
I got
Sorry
that
for no
fixed.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that.
It's
Little
funny because I
detail.
was like, "Damn, your times are like good."
I I don't know. I just have this thing where like I want to like get a decent time in a game. Typically it starts as like, "Oh, I'm gonna get that record." But um like honestly, like even just pushing for like a top 10 time at the time, it's a fun thing to do. I like doing it a lot.
hmm So, did you talk about all the GDQ runs you've done?
Um oh, I forgot about the Sonic Heroes run at SGDQ.
Mm,
Um
yeah.
I mean, there's the Hero Story run that I did at SGDQ 2021 online. There's the combination Sonic Adventure DX Gamma Story run that I did at SGDQ 2022, as well as the Pac-Man World 2 run. The Gamma Story run was fine. I hit the frame perfect at the end. Everyone popped off. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, SGDQ. I did. Oh no, I did a Frost Fatales race, Hero Story race with Lexi, and that was a fun one. I had a really good time with that one as well. Um, I would recommend that one. As just a comfort watch. Um, and I've done a bunch of other marathon runs for other marathons and stuff. There's a wide array, too many to count.
Fair.
Um, and then uh, SGDQ 2025 was Sonic Heroes, which was a bid war between Team Sonic and Team Chaotix LTS, and Team Chaotix won. And generally, I think that run was great, except I took like a 2-minute death in Mystic Mansion, and that was pretty brutal.
Mm,
I'm still a little bummed out about that run, but I mean, whatever happens.
fair.
And then Sonic Schoolhouse.
Yeah. So you've been consistently on GDQ for a while now.
Yeah, I am shocked that GQ likes me. um, you don't like it feels weird to be a somewhat consistent GDQ showcaser, if that makes sense.
Mm,
Like just weird feeling, but it feels great.
yeah.
I gotta say.
I guess with the more like nostalgic impact, maybe
Hmm.
feels a little more like how did we get here than it otherwise would.
Yeah,
But
I have a issue with like as like someone with a lot of anxiety and self image issues, I guess.
mhm.
Um, I definitely struggle with the idea that people like me and people want me around. Um,
Mm,
I think that has
yeah.
been slowly improving over the years, though, and
Yeah, like
it's
some
nice.
imposter syndrome and some overall,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, I have an anxiety disorder myself, so I get it.
Yeah, yeah, that's
I'm
hard.
picking up
It's
my
so
meds
hard.
after this is over. Woo!
Woo!
Yeah.
I need to get a refill on mine too.
Exciting life
Uh,
update. No.
See, this is what the speedrunning podcast is all about.
Yeah.
Drugs.
Drugs. Let's go. Well, um, yeah, I mean, I think you covered everything I would have asked. Um, I feel like the more run specific detail stuff I've either already covered or like is a little too nuanced. Like, actually, are there any
Yeah.
good like is there any good content you'd recommend for people interested in learning more about the stuff you're familiar with?
Oh, so like just in
Just
general
in general,
for
even if it's
games?
stuff like you've made
Okay.
and/or done, but like just yeah, just in
Yeah.
general.
I mean, eventually, I'm really good at not doing things. So I have
Me too.
ideas
Yeah.
in the pipeline for, stuff I want to make, but that's kind of like a nothing burger statement until I actually do it. So
I'm in
But
the same boat, so.
yeah. So Dawn SR has made some wonderful videos on SA2 and some of its history.
Mhm.
I'd highly recommend that if you're curious about SA2 stuff. Um, Nim Nimputs has made some great some great statics tutorials as well. Um, and generally, I think there's probably going to be more interest in static stuff in the future. I know Risuru made
Hmm.
a Game Grumps big story video about how the Game
Oh,
Grumps
yeah.
played big story and whatnot, which I think is a great watch. Um,
I saw that in my recommend.
yeah. Um, McKitty has made a lot of old tutorials for Pac-Man World 2, which I would recommend if you're interested in learning that game as well. Um, I mean, obviously, Average Trey has made some wonderful speedrunning videos on not Pac-Man World 2, but I would recommend them in general. Um, I Classic Sonic. I know Lunatic J made some videos
Mhm.
on classic Sonic stuff, which is cool.
About the time change and all the Sonic 2
Yeah,
renaissance that happened.
yeah, yeah. And I think Lunatic J also has something else in the pipeline
Ooh,
eventually.
ooh,
A little spoiler.
ooh.
Not gonna say anything
DMing him
else.
right now.
Ah!
Ah.
Oh no. Um. Oh. There's some old tutorials that Trader made. Trader kind of like deleted his channel by accident, but I think most of the tutorials ended up getting recovered by some members of the community. Also, you can join the community discords as well for SA2, SATX, Pac-Man, all that stuff. Like we all have like they all have wonderful resources for people who want to get into running those games, and I highly recommend them. You know, I'm just a little biased, but
Yeah.
I think the adventure series is cool as hell, and I think more people should run it. I think. Um, Cave Story
Yeah.
doesn't have anything, but you know, it's Cave Story. It's awesome. You could just play it. You could have fun. Um, and Sonic Schoolhouse. I get the one piece of content I can recommend is my Summer Games Done Quick
Yeah.
2026 run. It is very funny. I think you should watch
It
it
is very
if you
fun.
like humor. Um, and
Can
yeah, just
confirm.
shout outs to everyone in the audience and in the couch for making that run as good as it was. Um, I guess should I plug my stuff too?
I
Question
mean, I
mark.
would.
Okay. If you were so inclined to learn more about this silly kitty, you can go check me out at twitch.tv/Katie4 underscore. I stream very randomly, mostly when I feel like I want to off work or whatever. Um, I typically stream whatever I feel like. Um, like recently it's been some SA2 IL streams. Maybe I do some other SA2 stuff, but I don't know at this point. Um, you can check out my wide array of speedruns at youtube.com/ at Katie4. And I have a blue sky as well, Katie4.sacer.events, which I just repost gay art all the time. So if you're into that, there you go.
Doing God's work.
And woo, yeah. And hopefully I end up making some videos soon. I think that'd be cool. Um,
Sure.
no promises though.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying that for like 5 years now, so haha.
Surely one of these
Surely
days.
one day. No. But yeah, I started podcasting instead. It's a lot easier.
It is, yeah, I mean, podcasting is great, honestly. I
True.
think this is I had an interview with someone else before, but I think this is the first interview I've had like in like 5 or 6 years, maybe 7. Um,
Yeah,
it's been a long time. And thank you, GTAs, for offering this opportunity. I had a lot of fun.
wonderful. That's all I need to hear.
Woo!
Woo. Yep. So future plan. Do you have like long-term goals?
Um, it is likely that I end up pushing Metroid Prime a lot further. I would love to get a 04X, which is like the next minute barrier after the 50s. Um, and that's really hard. That's like 10 minutes of improvement. So that's going to be a nice little challenge for me to figure out and do. Um, I have an interest in pushing Sonic Story down. I don't know when I'll like push it, but Sonic Story is like kind of like the category I grew up with. So I would love to be able to compete in that again as well. I'm sure there might be a point in time where I do Team Sonic LTS to get like a 51, but no promises.
Hmm.
Uh, and eventually at some point, I want to go back to um, S3K glitchless and
Hmm.
get a better time in that. I think the record's 5240 by like NXS. Don't remember the name, but uh, that's an incredible time. I thought a 55 was nuts. The fact that it's a 52 is crazy.
Especially
Oh,
glitchless.
yeah. Also, one thing, I will eventually, in like a year or like 10 years from now,
Okay.
whatever it is, I will get it done. I want to route an all lives run for Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Sonic 3 and Knuckles being my favorite game of all time. I love that
Mm.
game to death. Wonderful game. And I want to have a speed run where I collect all the life monitors. And that's going to be some routing. um
Interesting. Interesting. Okay.
I don't even know if it's possible. I have no idea whether I want to take the run glitched or glitchless. I also have to consider if I want to go all emeralds for hypersonic shenanigans and stuff. But uh hopefully there's a run where I can collect all the one-ups in a single playthrough because I like the one-up jingle and it's fun to find them all. And it'd be cool to do a run of that.
Well,
Um
as the one up mushrooms warpless world record holder for Mario 1, I think this is a great idea.
Shoutouts to one-ups. One-ups
Shout
are
out
so
to one
cool.
ups. One of my like last 5 world records I have.
Thank God.
And yeah, only in categories that no one gives a shit about. You love to see it.
Yeah.
Those are the best
I
categories.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool. I would love it if someone else did a run of it, but I have to do it. I have to be the trailblazer, so
It's
I
true.
guess I'll do that.
Once it exists, then the category extension can be made, and then other people can hop on the bandwagon. Be the next
Woohoo!
big thing.
Super Mario.
Super fucking Mario.
Super fucking Mario. Why
Yeah.
did Jaxler say that?
I don't
Oh,
know, but I'm happy he did.
thank God.
Thank God for Jaxler.
Thank God for Jaxler. What a cool guy. I love him so much.
So true. So many shoutouts this stream. It's great. Shoutouts to
I love
shoutouts.
That's true.
Yeah,
I love shouting out people, you know?
so based. Well, that's everything, I think.
Yeah,
Right?
I think
Yeah,
so. Yeah,
right? Success,
that's like
huge.
all I have to really say. Shoutouts to speedrunning.
True, true.
Keep being you, people. You're all awesome, and make sure to insert your um mushroom into the air fryer so you can cook it
Huh?
and have a delicious meal out of it or
What
something. I don't
what
know.
is happening? What? I'm losing the plot.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Wonderful. Well, on that note, I guess that's everything. So, if you like the podcast and want to keep watching, I stream these a lot. The YouTube videos put up every Sunday. It's in the name, makes sense. And I'm gonna keep doing that. There's some big guests on the way. Scheduled. I'm scheduling shit properly. It's
Thank
happening.
God.
Because it doesn't always work out, but it's working out at the moment, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So let's keep that up. Uh,
Yeah, keep on watching.
keep
This
on
is great.
watching. Yeah, I mean, you like four of the people you've talked about have been on the show. Everyone can watch those episodes too now. It all makes sense. Get the
True.
full plot. But yeah,
The
so
story of the Sunday Speedrunner Showcase.
yeah, that's a story speedrun we haven't talked. Anyway, all right. I think I gotta close this off before we get too wild.
Mm-hmm.
But there's plenty of content. Go watch. It's cool and stuff. Okay. Uh, bye. I guess.
Bye.
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Thank you. Bye.